Okay, thank you, Brian. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today so for that, that's great. We intend providing you with information regarding our procurement details along with our compliance details. So to start off with, I want to say thank you very much. Our two commissioners, Dr. Nana and Commissioner Ellis, thank you for being here with us as well for the support. And then our entire project team, Shoal Park District, Army Corps, Smith Group, if you guys can just stand up real quick, everybody that's part of our project team, just so that everybody sees the amount of support. Just so I can see the amount of support and work that's gone into this, and the tremendous work that the Park District and the Army Corps has done today, and the fact that we're partnered together, CDOT, Park District, the Army Corps, PDC, our architect, and all their consultants, along with a number of other people that are here with us today, for all of the work, the tremendous work that's gone into getting the project to the point that it is. So with that said, I did want to just say one thing as well before we get started. If you have contractors that are in the room, I'm going to read their names out loud so that everybody knows who they are. So Mike Black from Walsh Construction, Ryan Aaron from John Kino, Sean Thomas John with Thatcher, Veronica with great. Veronica with Lifeless Construction, thank you. Daryl Lindsay with FH Passion, James, I met you here with Millhouse, and Manson Crestwood with Mellon Crestwood Concrete Construction. Now, this is not a mandatory pre-submission conference, so what we've done is we're going to be recording this session. It will be posted on our website along with the presentation, and the sign-in sheets will be posted to our website by tomorrow. So please be looking out for that. All other project information related to this project is also posted on our website, including and not limited to the community meetings and the open house that we've had with the community. I want to reiterate again, and my colleague here, James Workman, will reiterate as well, that this is a pre-qualification, pre-submission conference. This is not to procure the work, this is not to start construction, this is not to select the contractor that's going to do work. It's merely to pre-qualify a GC that will be eligible to bid on the work after we work through the process with the Army Corps, ensuring that we're in compliance with all regulations and laws. So we do not anticipate any work starting this year. So we work through the process that Mike Vivian and his team have been diligently working with. So Mike, thank you for that. All right, you want the next slide, Ryan?
No.
So as I said, our Director of Procurement, James Morgan, our Director of Compliance, Patrice Doyle, our Deputy Director of Procurement, Maggie Montenegro, will provide the procurement and compliance details, which will be 98% of this meeting, right? To provide you with the information that you need to prepare your submissions for that. I will let my team discuss all of that. Where I'm concerned, I did want to talk a little bit about the objectives and a little bit of the project overview. So, thank you, Michael. So in Shoal is a raised area which holds bedrock under the surface of the water. Yes, I read that directly from my script. It's an important project, it's an important investment to restore the state of life, the shoreline that is in great need of doing stuff. With that being said, we're not doing any of this without input from some of the community residents, and we're, as we committed to, we'll come back to the community after we're through the Army Corps process, analysis, and so forth, to represent the project at that point. But where this project is concerned, where your qualifications are concerned, it is a multi-year, multi-phase project. So please consider that, and there'll be some slides here momentarily to give you some context and some perspective as to the work that we're talking about. Approximately a mile long, both lakeside and landside work, both very specialized and also not specialized with regards to the work on the land side as opposed to the work on the lakeside. The purpose, of course, is to provide that protection of the shoreline, ensure that it's going to be stable, for years to come. If you've been here at this location between 45th and 51st Street, you're free, it's open. You'll be able to notice sort of the condition of the shoreline over the years of all the wave action and everything that comes with that. So as I said, it's approximately a mile long. We'll add approximately 9.5 acres of new usable parkland in addition to all the features that you see here. So the features that the project will include are you think about the team, how you think about what can be included in your qualifications, and determining the compliance team will talk about that. So it's not just about execution of the work, it's about your team, who's on the team, and what is your team responsible for, right? So if you go to the next slide. So this slide gives you some perspective with regard to the proposed work. This information that you see here has been shared with the community previously. There's nothing here on the screen. It's not posted on our website. It hasn't been shared publicly. It's an important statement to make in that this has been public information. There's nothing that you're seeing here that's been given advantage over anybody else. Besides the fact that we're going to post this information on our website as well. So this gives you some perspective of the 2 points of work and the type of work that's going to go into it. We can go to the next slide. So we got images showing you regarding the overview of the work to give you some concept and perspective as to where is the work, what might the work entail. So it's not just how do you execute the work, is who's on the team to coordinate the sequence to ensure that the scheduling works, that the deliveries are appropriate, that your safety and quality plans are there, your scheduler is aware where and how you procure significant material that's going to be required, including all the things that will be part of the development. So that all becomes an important part. So it's not just general construction, it's how do you coordinate the work safely within the phases that have been established that comply with the specifications when that time comes, and delivering on time, which is the commitment that we're going to make, not just to our partners in the Park District and CDOT, but also the Army Corps and the residents that utilize the space at all times. So that's one perspective. So this gives some content regarding the work. So it's not just the various types of investments that are going to be constructed, it's also the landside work to create a space that's warm and welcoming and encourages our city residents to utilize the space. And you can see in this photograph, it's not very specialized work, but it's important work with regard to mass excavation, significant infill material, landscape, asphalt, striping, signage, prairie grass, so on and so forth. So all these elements become important, and that's why we encourage subcontractors, vendors, and suppliers to be part of this meeting as well. Because as the GCs are submitting their pre-qualifications, and James, Patrice, and Patty will talk in a second about what those pre-qualifications include with regard to your specific experience, number of years of experience, and relevant projects of similar complexity and value that you've delivered successfully. That's an important part of this conversation because we committed to the community and committed to our clients and partners that those GCs that are going to be pre-qualified have demonstrated that they have experience and knowledge of this type of work and the complexity surrounding this type of work. It's not just execution, it's coordination, sequencing, scheduling, and ensuring that the work is performed safely in a timely manner. So that's what that slide is for. This gives you another perspective from the south and the north to give you an idea of that approximate 1 mile worth of project and the amount of coordination that's going to be required. The pedestrian path, bike path, there are portions of the project that will remain open west of the work that we're doing. And that's an important part of this conversation. So as we pre-qualify GCs, as we review your submission, James, Patty, Patrice, team, if I'm submitting my qualifications, I'm going to demonstrate not only can I put it work, but this is how I'm going to do it. Here's how I'm going to meet all the requirements. Here's how I'm going to maintain schedule. Here's how I'm going to maintain a commitment to be transparent, communicated, not just with us, but we also committed to our ultimate against Alderman Robinson that we would provide those updates. And we committed to the community that once the work is procured, after we work through the Army Corps process and the environmental analysis, after NEPA, after Shoal, after the IDA, after IDNR, after they come back and present the final information to the community for their awareness, after they have the community comment period or the public comment period, then we'll be prepared to issue the contract documents. Right now, the concept is a concept, which is what we've been working on. And none of the contract documents are not finalized because we need to wait to work through the process of ensuring that compliance with all of the rules and regulations surrounding this project. So Mike, I appreciate what you and the team are doing with that. Thank you. With that said, I will turn it over to James Morgan and planning on the next one, and run through your details and some of the instructions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ray. First, I want to say good morning. Excited to have people that we have here. So I did that because procurement is the technical side of things. For those of you that aren't interested in 1 hour of the finer points of the request for qualifications, I would advise you take a 1 hour break, go get breakfast and come back, because that's what this meeting is. So the pre-qualification process is the technical one. At its heart, it's designed to identify a pool of experienced and capable general contractors who can meet the project's technical safety standards. The pre-qualification term for this pool will remain in effect through and expire upon the selection of the contractor awarded the project during the bidding phase. Today's pre-submission conference is designed to provide insight into the pre-qualification process. Today, we'll spend the next hour various components, technical details, and requirements for the request for qualifications for this project. I ask that all contractors and subcontractors, vendors, and suppliers pay particular attention to each of the details provided by my Deputy Director of Procurement and our Director of Compliance. As always, it's our goal to ensure a competitive and transparent process. This meeting is being recorded, as Ray said, it will be available at a later date on our website, as will the sign-in sheets. So we appreciate your time and effort in attending, and I look forward to reviewing your submissions. I will now happily turn the mic over to my Deputy Director of Procurement, and the sole point of contact.
Thank you, James, and welcome everyone to this pre-submission conference. We're very glad, as our colleagues have, my colleagues have stated, to have you in attendance. And we do want to stress and emphasize the importance of going over the technical details of the pre-qualification process. This is a really important project to the community. We want to ensure that we get contractors who are pre-qualified and qualified to perform the work. So we'll go over the procurement timeline. The RFQ was issued on February 18th. The pre-submission conference. And then we have a questions deadline by March 21st by 4 p.m. Thank you to those who have already submitted their questions. We will continue to, as we receive them, we will continue to review them and consider them for response via agenda. Then we have a submission deadline for April 1st by 4 p.m. And we then anticipate taking the recommendations of the pre-qualified pool of general contractors to our May 13th Board of Commissioners meeting. And then we anticipate that pre-qualification determination issued to the pre-qualified pool by May 16th. And so contractors interested in becoming pre-qualified would need to commit their statement of qualifications and financial capacity. And typical qualifications and evaluation criteria include the technical competence, past experience, past performance of the firm, references, financial capacity, familiarity with project scheduling. An evaluation team is formed, to independently review the submissions. This is really important, to know because, everyone here, your firms, I'm sure, are qualified, everyone is qualified to perform the work, but when it comes to then submissions and reviewing what has actually been submitted, the details here are very, very important. And the evaluation team goes into hours of deliberation over submissions. So we want to emphasize, right, that the evaluation team independently reviews the submissions. Then they are scored based on the weight assigned to each criteria, and they're ranked highest to lowest. Then we discuss the findings together, and we all agree on an overall, the team. We discuss the findings and then agree on the overall consensus score that will help determine the final pre-qualification. And then again, final recommendation goes to our board, and then we notify the pre-qualified. We have already downloaded the RFQ. So the RFQ is broken down in sections. So introduction, is what we do. Then key information regarding this project specific pre-qualification. Then we have a project description. And then we go into detail with regards to the evaluation criteria, submission requirements, and then we provide forms, exhibits, and actions associated. On page 7, the RFQ provides a little bit of context with regards to the anticipated contractual obligations once bid goes out on the street. So we have NPWD and CPE participation goals. EPO goals, community and city residency goals. We talk about joint venture partnerships, bonds. So there will be 2 types of bonds that are required. The big bond that will be required at the time of bid, and then the imminent performance bond that will be required when the project is awarded. The insurance requirements are included in the exhibit, so we also want to make sure that the contractors at this stage to get familiarizing themselves with the insurance requirements and the very detailed, want to ensure that the coverages that are requested. If there is a project labor agreement at the time of the bid, we will make sure that contractors adhere to project labor agreements. And then we have safety and quality control plans and project scheduling details. We won't be highlighting all of the forms on screen, but on screen we will highlight those that are key to the evaluation team for their review. And so when completing these forms, we want to ensure that you populate each field. If there is no answer or not, it's not applicable, we want to make sure that you insert NA. For the 3 projects in the latest 10 years, working on the project. Then we have 4D, which is your key personnel. There are roles identified at the top. That we want to ensure that you provide a form for each individual key personnel identified. If there is one person who's going to be serving 2 roles, we want to know that on the form. In addition to financial statements that will speak to earlier, there is an actual one key financial capacity that we also need copies of it. And And then we have Form B, licensing, and general information. And all of those, items in section. In its entirety. We have Form H, which is the MPWE, EPO, DRO, and CH participating. So we want to make sure, the lady next to me here will be reviewing these documents, and we want to make sure that you provide her very detailed information demonstrating your, past participation with, all of these goals stated, throughout. And again, for, these forms, we're going to ask for 3 projects within the last 10 years. Now we highlight just the additional forms that are included in our FQ, which, are also reviewed by our team, and they're more like legal documents that we go over and review for, to ensure that you're qualified on, the specific work. And then again, exhibit A, insurance requirement that you should have already found in the RFQ document. For the evaluation criteria, we have 5 criteria, and they equal a total of 100% or 100 points. Technical competence and past performance, qualifications and relevant experience of key personnel, financial capacity, MBE, WBE, CBE test participation, and overall submission requirements. So, technical competence and past performance, again, at 30%, 3 projects within the last 10 years, and we want to make sure that projects performed locally and within your licensing capacity, that you demonstrate experience with city, state, and federal permitting and inspection processes, and that you demonstrate the breadth and depth of the experience of similar coastal projects with varying levels of complexity and value. I do want to stress that I know most of you have submitted on previous projects, and that the forms may appear to be similar in that the information that we request is similar, but that's why we make sure that we identify project specific. Please hone in on project specific details for the projects that you are submitting. The relevant experience of key personnel, 25%. We need you to demonstrate that your current employees have the ability to employ adequately qualified and experienced key personnel. And again, we've identified Form B as a series of roles that we want you to identify the roles in. And in addition to the Form B, we also want to make sure that you include at minimum a 2-page resume per proposed key personnel. And financial capacity, again, want to emphasize there's contractors who have previously submitted. Please, I know that some of you are just taking notes here, but please make sure your marketing team, the person who's going to assemble this solicitation, please ensure that they include the past 3 years. Do not password protect. These documents are held in confidentiality. They go from me to our financial subject matter expert, who then reviews, and then they are deleted to comply with confidentiality. Submit as a separate file and email them and label them as described in the RFQ. MBE, WBE, and DBE participation at 25%. Again, emphasizing 3 projects within the last 10 years on Form H. and demonstrate your commitment to achieving meaningful participation. In detail, please. Overall submission requirements, we're assigning 5 points to this, contrary to our 3%, because we do, again, when you take notes and they're transferred over to your marketing team, we want to make sure that you give the information to the marketing team in advance time for them to complete the submission, review it, make sure that all of the documents are included and that every area that we're requesting information has been responded to. And to help with that, we've included additional resources to achieve a successful, pre-qualification status. So I won't go into details here, but so organization of the response mission checklist. Our team has indicated that this is going to be on our website, so it is available to you in a link, and it's also available to you in video form. We have our RFQ that has the checklist. Trying to encourage. So there are, I'm not going to go all the stuff, but there's 10 checklist items there for you to review. Joint venture participation and partnerships, we definitely encourages the JV partnerships at the time of pre-qualification or at the time of bid. So you do have an opportunity to submit singularly for this pre-qualification, as well as jointly with a joint venture now, or at the time the bid solicitation goes out. JV partnerships can be a combination of non-MBE, WBE, joining with the MBE, WBE, or TBE, or vice versa. If submitting at the time of bid, the firm with a controlling interest must be pre-qualified.
Say that one more time.
Yes. So if submitting at the time of bid, firm with a controlling interest must be pre-qualified. So indicating that you are pre-qualified here under this process, and your partner is not, you must be that firm with controlling interest. JV documentation that we're going to look for is your Schedule B joint affidavit, certification letters from your MBE, WBE, or TBE partners, and a joint venture agreement. And that agreement can be in draft form, but by the time we award, it must be finalized. And that's a word for the project. Submission requirements: the document must be single, searchable PDF document that are only available as a copy. So I know we go over this in the pre-submission conferences. I just want to emphasize the importance of this also. So what is this exactly mean? Your PDF document, populate electronically for your marketing team, and any copies of licenses or additional documents that are not available in PDF form, we're going to kindly ask that insert within the actual PDF document. So if that's too technical for you, yes, please reach out to your marketing team to assist. It must be event organized according to the checklist, and then it must be submitted via email to my attention at patricia.montenegro@cityofchicago.org and pbc-procurement@cityofchicago.org. If the file exceeds 25 MB, and provide access to your submission via a Dropbox or similar secure file sharing platform. The documents again are available on our current opportunities page. The link is provided there. It's the RFQ document, forms and exhibits. It's any agenda that we may issue during the solicitation of this pre-qualification process and pre-submission conference materials. Question deadline, again, March 21st, 4 p.m. Please. We do encourage the questions coming in so that we have access to review and respond to them prior to submission. To submit them in writing via email to myself, Tricia.Manuel@cityofchicago.org. And again, no one that has been issued to date. PPC alerts. So we want to encourage those who have already signed up for PPC alerts and received our alert. We have a new feature where it's signed up, so we have a text feature. So please take a moment to take a picture of the screen and I'll turn it over to Shoal, Director of Finance.
Well, hello everyone. The information that I'm going to share is regarding the anticipated contract applications and what our standards are for public building conditions. So the MBE and WBE goals, these are standard goals that we have for our project. Are 26% NBE, 6% WBE. There may be a project specific goal for DBE for this project. Once the meeting goes out, we'll provide more information. And again, it may also provide specific goals, but that's our standard requirements are 26% NBE and 6% WBE. We only accept certification from the city of Chicago or Cook County, and they must be certified in the scope of work that they're performing. Meaning that if they're certified as an electrician, but you're trying to use them for plumbing, then that does not meet the requirements. And they must have a must be currently certified with the city of Chicago and or Cook County. If there is a DB requirement on this project, we'll accept DB certifications from IDOT, City of Chicago, CTA, Metro, and Space. And that is for the DBE requirement, not for the WBE, but only for the DBE requirement. So as you're collecting your information regarding the WBE and DBEs, please reference the sections so you make sure you're getting the correct certification. Also, our standard EO goals, the maximum that you can commit to a 70% minority journey workers, 70% minority apprentices, 70% minority laborers. For female, there's a maximum of 15% female journey workers, female apprentices, female laborers. This is a requirement that is not set by PBC. So as you're getting closer to the project and you become a pre-qualified general contractor is something you should consider what goal you might be able to meet, because once the contract is signed, it becomes a requirement. Because this is something that you have said that you can make. So just make sure it female will 5%. It goes out by those community areas where that 75% come from. It also means that these mentions are the whole. paper is the schedule B, which is the document that
Okay, we're good to go.
So I just want to go over a couple of things about the Form H, as Patty mentioned, 25 points is going to be WDB. So the Form H is, three projects for the last 10 years. But if you notice, there's a small box on there, so I suggest that you would add a letter with additional information on how you might be able to, convince us that you will, comply with NBEWDBE. Also, as you may have noticed that this, community is very active with this project. So adding something like you'll work with not compliance person, so that might be someone you want to mention. Don't have compliance person, maybe they're working with compliance consultant firm. To identify, it's okay, just submit that Form H as is. But if you're being graded on that information of your MVD doesn't include DB, you might want to add additional information on someone's success. That you have had in these areas and how you will be successful in this project as well, because again, this is a high score for MVD participation, so, you might want to add a little bit more information, or if you're not working with anyone in the house, you might consider, adding something to your team to help in that. Or, if you know, you might work with this project, as you're looking at the scope of work, you might want to mention that as well, that you, planning on working in these type of purpose. That's it. That's my suggestion, yes. So that section cannot provide all of the information that I mentioned, So we would like to add a letter included in your, then that would be acceptable, but if you want to be over and just fill out the form, then that's acceptable as well. It's a business.
And I do want to emphasize that if you are including attachments, if you are including attachments, and additional support information to the section, please ensure that you follow, the guidelines on, how to label that attachment.
Thank you. Thank you, James. And, you know, we place a lot of emphasis on team. So your team being a reflection of this community is an important part of this review process and an important part of getting you pre-qualified. In addition to your experience, in addition to how you're going to manage the work, coordinate the work, stay on schedule, and perform the work safely, please consider your team as well. She's emphasized, I think, about half a dozen times. And your team being a reflection of the community is an important part of this, not just how you're doing the work, it's who's on your team that's going to be doing the work as a team. So with that being said, we can open up for questions and answers. If you've got somebody in the way, Brian, that's going to walk around, and we might think himself walking around.
You know, in particular, sort of the gemstone of this project is a limestone amphitheater, but there's no mention of masonry work as a requirement. And in particular, there's no mention of preservation of masonry work, which would be an important skill for any contractor on this project path, because they are going to be taking existing historic limestone and moving it to build the amphitheater. And I believe for the DSI positions, that would be, 0400 for masonry and 040300 for conservation treatment for period masonry. And could that be, the RFQ be updated to include that? Also, there could just be perhaps a few more details in the project description. I think that would be very reassuring to community members. Right now, it's stated that the project will reflect conceptual designs that resulted from the 2014-2015 public participation engagement process. I think it would be a good idea to update that so that we know that the public participation process from the spring of 2024 will be reflected in the project. You know, some of the public concerns are a little vague right now. For example, it says a balance will be struck between traditional park green space, I assume maybe lawn, and new diverse natural areas supporting indigenous flora and fauna, particularly birds. Is there to be a little bit more detail about that? What is the balance that's being struck? And also, you know, I think it's worthwhile to state that specific to this site, there are endangered species living on site. That's going to be a huge part of your EPA compliance. So I think that as it stands, the RFQ at this moment does not give contractors a fair idea of the scope of the complexity and value of the project. And I'm wondering if it can be updated to reflect some of these things before the March 21st question deadline, so that all of the people who are pre-qualified are in fact qualified for this project.
Okay, great. So, and this is a request for qualifications, not a document you can it wouldn't be appropriate for us to include contract document specific information for the qualification process rather than a general overview of the concept and general overview requirements. And we stated in the beginning of this conference, contract documents won't be completed, won't be available until we get through the process that the Army Corps is undertaking. And we come back to the community to review all those details, to include the specifications and the details that you mentioned. So then those contract documents should be completed, then those documents should be issued. For the purpose of pre-qualifying the contractors that are sitting around you, there's enough information here for the contractors to understand the current scope of the work. We intentionally did not include specific details for the project other than providing a general overview of the requirements and the expectations.
So the contractors here would not need any masonry expertise to build the engineer. And they would not need any preservation knowledge.
So as part of their submission, they would propose, and in their response, all of those qualifications and experience for similar projects, whether it's complexity, size, value, or schedule, all that information will be provided to us.
And how do they know they need to provide that information if it's not outlined in the RFQ?
So the general requirements for the overview of the project is in the RFQ. In addition to all the information that's being posted on our website, we're careful in terms of how we structure the RFQ compared to the documents that we're going to issue for bid later after the public comment process has been completed, because things can change. Right, the contract documents, once they're finalized, based on the public comment period, based on the environmental analysis, and based on the NEPA, SHPO, IDNR, IEPA review processes, and after those documents are updated, we're able to come back and present that information, not just to you, but the entire community, and any contractor that wants to attend those meetings. And I think you already know all of them, especially the ones that are applying up there, which I appreciate. That throughout the community meetings that we've had, including open house, we've had contractors attend those meetings as well. They're public meetings. And so the contractors, subcontractors, vendors, and suppliers are aware of the project, but we are very careful to not turn this into an issue for bid session with our contractors until we get a list of pre-qualified general contractors. When we review the submissions, some of the question you asked is a relevant question, in addition to some questions that we had internally as well. Specific questions that I'm not going to get into now because some of the respondents are in the room and it wouldn't be appropriate for us to share that information with them. However, when those responses come back, whether it's that question or some other technical questions that we have after the interview process, or I'm sorry, after the submission process, the evaluation process, there might be a short list of contractors that we may want to interview with questions. For every question we ask one contractor, we're going to ask all the contractors to ensure that there's consistency with the question and consistency, hopefully with the response that we get. We are not going to pre-qualify any general contractors that don't have experience to perform this work, whether it's the amphitheater work or the salvage and reinstallation work or the pad or the various developments that are included, in addition to how the work is going to be executed. So we're intentionally being very careful with the amount of information that's in this RFQ. Otherwise, it would be a different pre-submission conference. We have contract document details, we have profiles, we have cross sections, we get into all of the details that you're asking about. And it wouldn't be appropriate for this purposes of pre-qualifying the GCs. I know that you're not getting the answer you want, but
I'm just confused about if you're trying to pre-qualify people, but you're saying that the information to ultimately choose a contractor is not in this RFQ. Can you point to me, in this document or on the website, where is this information? Because I think from the community standpoint, it seems very unclear that our input is in this request for a contractor. So, but you're saying that it absolutely is. So I'm just wondering, can you point to that?
yeah, so let's do this. Those specific design related questions, our team is prepared to meet with you in the portal outside of you, because there's information that you may be aware of, other residents may be aware of, the contractors may be unaware, specifically related to the details of contract issues or contract details rather. So our team is prepared to meet with you right outside the hallway and kind of work through that with you and get a better understanding of what the person actually.
Could that meeting still be a matter of some degree of record? Because I think it's sort of that's a point of concern, that we'll have a private meeting, but it won't be meaningful.
Well, it won't be meaningful because the community meetings and the open houses, 3 times a month, anything about open, including yesterday, have been very, sorry, 2 days ago. Has been very meaningful and insightful and give us context and further context with regard to some of the concerns. And I do want to say, after this, we'll meet with you outside. I don't want to see that we're about to procure a contractor when we start working on this, as you stated 2 days ago. That's not the case. So as I stated at the beginning of this meeting, there is a process that we adhere to. We will comply with the regulations, we will comply with the laws. We committed to come back and meet with the community once that process is complete to show that end result to the community before we issue documents to them. So that meeting in the corridor is specifically related to community concerns, not related to our ability or our intent to pre-qualify GCs. And I want to show you as much respect as I can, of course, to give you the time that you need, but we also want to give you more time outside if you have questions about specifics. Smithton, our director of planning and design, deputy director of construction, if I'm before the park district, we're all here. We can meet with you right outside, or if you want to meet afterwards, after the contractors ask their questions, we can do that as well. Not to say that there won't be an addendum clarifying some items. And it also depends on the questions that the contractors and subcontractors may have as well. Not just the ones that are here, but because this is being recorded, we may get questions, we will get questions from those that have not attended. And you're not included in submitting questions either, by the way. It's an open public procurement, and we're here to say that's what we're doing. So I hope that satisfies some of your concerns. I know not all.
But you can ask again, the meeting is a hallway. The
It's-
statements that are made there are,
It's not part of this process.
that's not part of this process, and it's not, none of those statements there would be binding. None of them.
None of them, I'm sorry, say anything.
None of them would have any binding, you know,
Well, I don't know if I can give you the definitive yes or no. It depends on the conversation, it depends on the feedback that we get from the team. And it depends on whether or not it's relevant to the pre-qualification of GC. Not that it's not relevant to the bigger community concerns and how we're addressing that to the Army Corps. And then following back up with the community as we committed to once that process has been completed. So I can't give you a definitive, no, we're not going to accept any of your questions. It just depends on what the conversation consists of and what information that the Army will provide or our team can provide along with our record. So we're going to be as flexible as we can, as we've been. We've never shied away from meeting with the community. And we appreciate that and taking time out of the day, coming to at least 3 of our board meetings. And that's been helpful too. Very respectful. It's been a good, when we met with you twice afterwards, man, I think the only time we weren't able to meet with you after the board meeting was 2 days ago. Otherwise, I think we met, some of our commissioners met with you as well. So we're always going to do that. We're not going to block out the community. We're not going to block out the candidates, but we're going to have a realistic conversation. So I think you might have some questions up there too. So we can do that when we're ready. Our team is ready. Right after this, we can meet with you and we can talk through some of those items as well. Any other questions from contractors, themselves, vendors, suppliers?
I just need, I don't want to make a statement. I just want to introduce us.
Go ahead, stand up, introduce yourself.
My name is Antonio Allen. Me and my partner, Manzo Crestwood. We own Allen Crestwood Concrete Construction. We had the pleasure of working on 2 revetment projects as finishers on the project. We completed Fullerton and Lakeshore Drive and 39th Lakeshore Drive, so 43rd. So we were hands-on. You did all the concrete work, all the finishing work was us doing from the place finishing to the sit, everything complete. So I just want to introduce us as a contractor that has performed work on the revetment project.
I appreciate that, and I met with both of you before we started with thank you. Our attendance sheets will be posted as well. I'm glad you introduced yourself to some of the GCs that are sitting in the room. I'm sure you're going to be interested in contacting them, and I know just by meeting for a few minutes, you're going to be contacting them whether they contact you or not. So that's a good thing. I'm glad you're here. I am aware of the work. Park District has made us aware of that work, and it's been exceptional work. I'm glad that I met you here for the first time in person, but that's why we're here as well. So please take advantage of the signing sheet, take advantage of the presentation. And I'm glad you stood up and introduced yourself.
And we're in the certified, so
Good, thank you.
And who's your certification from? In Chicago. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions?
There's no other questions from contractors about the technical specifications that we just went through.
What is the anticipated timeline? I appreciate you have to walk through the permitting and still construct the documents, but the overall timeline.
For
For-
construction?
Yeah, start of construction.
So
Or
January-
proposed bidding.
yeah, generally anticipated, generally after we qualify general contractors, after we work through this process, through the public comment process, we meet on the ship over IDNR, in both cases where there will be a public comment period. And after we've been able to come back to the community to address these very specific concerns, including the concerns that our partners in third go up at. We anticipate Q4 or Q1 for the following year to issue documents to bid. And at this point, it'd be a little too early to talk about project schedule because we need to work through some of these processes. And we have to provide the community with their opportunity for public comment period, not just that approximate 60 days after the environmental assessment is concerned, but also the Public Building Commission and its partners to come back to the community and say, here's where we are after the process is completed, after the public comments have been received, after we re-engage with the community, suggest some of these specific concerns we have, and then work with our architect to finalize the contract documents, and then get those documents out to bid. So I know I'm answering, but not answering, but I just want to be careful because there's a process that we're going to go through. But Q4 this year, Q1 next year, depending on the process, depending on the engagement with the community. To then follow up and say, here's what we have, here's what we've heard, because in community defense, we haven't met with them in a few months. And that was because we had to work through this process, we're going to meet on the ship review, so. That's, I hope that answers it, so. We're not starting construction this year, I hope that answers that question. Yes, this is. Let him bring you the thank you. Was there another contractor involved in this? Okay, we'll come back.
And I'm checking to be secure because I just said that it's not. And like, you know, you're saying, what if it's not a final? And you can't use the plan. And so the contractors that you're qualifying may not be able to do those changes. Secondly, according to EPA 60,000, procedures for implementing the national environmental policy and assessing environmental effects of broad EPA to come to the EPA. This project has been over 5 years old. Over 5 years old, it's not complete. And so my understanding is that start the title unity process over. I went to everyone of the meetings and the closed house, and all you did was discuss your plans. We were not involved in this plan. This plan is over 5 years old. And so I object to this entire scenario because we should have community meetings where we are involved in this plan design. The plan conflict, my understanding is you move towards restoration using the limestone. Shoal finally says that you can't do what you're allowed to do, and you're moving forward as the lead have been authorized to do something. So I just want you to know that the community is not involved in this plan. Those meetings were not meetings. We were not allowed to participate at the open house. And the proposals outside of took them down. So these are not, this is not a community involved project. You're just important. So I just want to make sure that you know that all these contractors know that there's going to be community outcry if they go forward with this plan. You're going to be dealing with all of us, people that are not here, are not satisfied with this project.
Thank you, appreciate that. Right after the we can address those concerns that's fine on the post here. Also, I do remember meeting several times, including open house, explaining to you, and it's a very good question. and you kind of went to show me all the posters that you had outside of the room, which was very educational. I mean, so I do appreciate everything that you said, but you and I personally met several times, and you come to our office, and we met before several times, including the open house, and all of the information you had posted outside of the open house as well. So I do appreciate that, and I have a lot of respect for you, but those other questions that you had, I think after the meeting, we can address some of those. I think we had a question here.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Lee Fan from the Board of Construction. Regarding this, and maybe you'll come out with the big package, but regarding penalties associated with not meeting MBWB and also EEO requirements as well. Is that part of our fuel that come up?
That will come out and anticipate what the NBW and or maybe those requirements will be. I'm pretty sure the city of Chicago, we have done from the Pacific for the community hiring, but once the bid is posted, that information will be definitive. What we're asking you for here is to say, this is what I've done in the NBW. This is what I'm planning to do for this project. As you can see, there is community concern that we will have someone on our team that might be able to address this, and you can provide that information. If not, just your additional information should be about really and how we will address for this project.
Yeah, yes.
Are there any veteran goals associated? I appreciate the minority and the women in the D side. Are there, I know other city entities recognize or use veteran goals or BEPD goals. Are there any of those goals associated with this project?
Not for this specific project.
Well, if that's part of how you're going to respond to this, that's great. Everything that sets you apart. What is the value add in addition to you have to do the work, but what differentiates you from the guy sitting behind you? Where is that value? All right, so I'm saying now that I'm microphone right here, I think, yes, the RFQ is pretty clear, very clear regarding the submission requirements, but if you wanted to include any other information that sets you apart as a value add, we encourage you to do that. It's not just execution, it's how you work, who's on the team, and what sets you apart from people sitting around you. Good question. Anything else? Please look for, I'm hoping everyone sign up for our alerts, but also look to our website. By close business tomorrow night, we're going to post the presentation, the video, and our sign-in sheets. Once again, please contact Bowley, Patricia, over there. Nobody else on the team will be able to start it. So she's the contact officer. Want to make sure you understand this is procurement, not really local. So thank you, everybody, for attending. Appreciate your time and spending time with us. Thank you.